Hey there, it's me. I'm the guy who made those Teto covers a few days ago. Uh, I wanted to do a little like something like experimental here, like something I've never really done before, which is just like sort of just sitting here and recording something while I speak. Um, you know, I thought like since I've gotten like a lot of traction by doing ultra kill stuff lately. I thought that I would like sit down and do something a little fun, which is like sort of like go through ultra kill and find a bunch of like weird little places that are either kind of like obscure or maybe that you haven't really thought about. Um, I've seen other people do this sort of concept before for other games, but I think because of the kind of game that Ultra Kill is, it might be really interesting to sort of do something like this for it. So I think like straight off the bat, we're just gonna go off to our first place, which we don't actually have to go too far to see, which is, and we are in the tutorial actually. Um, it actually took when I was thinking of places to like check out for this. This actually wasn't the one of the first places that came to mind. It actually took me a bit to think of this. But when I really thought about it, this is kind of a weird place because it really does not like feel like a lot of the other places in the game. As in, it's not really a part. It's sort of part of 0-1 because you can replay it if you select 0-1 like in the level select. But when you come in here, it does have like a sort of like very different feel to any of the other levels that you come across. Um, but I do feel like I feel like it does sort of like it does feel welcome, I think, in the game because this game's movement is pretty intricate. So I feel like having this like really like low energy place to sort of get like accustomed to it straight off the bat is a good thing to have. Um, so like it is, I do find it interesting, like the order at which they introduce this stuff. Because you come down, and the first thing you have to do is you have to punch to get rid of the boards, and that makes sense because punching is like a big part of your moveset. And but then they go straight into sliding, which is pretty important, but honestly does not immediately. I mean, they don't give you like a tutorial on how to jump or anything, but I feel like you don't really need a tutorial on how to, move around and jump and look around. But then you have the dash, um, and in the Ultra Revamp update, they added this like electric barrier, which sort of teaches you that you can dash for invisibility frames, is which is pretty good. I mean, obviously that is if you intuit that this is like invincibility frames, which is, I mean, you probably would, right? Can I, can I fit, can I fit down here? I can. But yeah, they do teach you this, but through like the tip of the days on terminals. But like, I mean, honest question, as a first time player, did you read those or did you know that those were there? Because they are a little bit difficult to miss. And then going into this room, you have like the filth hung up from the ceiling, which is another ultra revamp change. Which I think this is like really. I remember when I was first playing through ultra revamp. This is the part where I knew like things were going to be really good here because when you have these guys like hung up here, it really like makes a lot more sense compared to them just sort of like awkwardly standing here like they did before. Then you come in here and then you have your wall jumps, which is pretty self-explanatory. Then you have your ground slams, and then through here they tell you about soul orbs, which is kind of interesting that they do that here. I can't really explain why though. And then, oh, okay, well I guess we're leaving now. And then you fall down here, and then you're in 0-1. But we're not talking about 0-1. So I'm gonna stop here. We're gonna move to our next place, which is a very interesting place to talk about, actually, I think. And we are going now. Hello! You just caught me in a bit of a situation here. I'm here in 0-1, where the only thing that I fear is the Toucher. He's on his way, and he's gone, and we're done. And the reason why I came down here is because I wanted to actually talk about this level after you've lit it up, because I don't really see a lot of people talk about it. After you place down the red skull, you know, like this, everything lights up, and you can actually walk around this place in the light, or partially in the light. It's still pretty dark, but you can actually see. You can actually like look around, and you can see. And this is a very like weird place because it's sort of. I mean, because if you think about like a lot of the secret levels, they either like resemble the level. Can I pick this up? Okay, I can pick this up without something wicked coming after me, so I can actually light this up. But when you think about a lot of the secret levels, they're either like, look at this. This is weird. What is this architecture going on here? And as I was saying, when you think about a lot of the secret levels, they're either like pretty similar to the levels that to the layers that they're based on. Like, I don't know, like think of like 1-S or 4-S or 7-S, or they either do something completely different, like 2-S or 5-S, which sort of fits the general like water ocean theming, but it looks very different. But then you have 0-S, which is in this sort of weird middle ground where it is still like very like visibly the mouth of hell, but at the same time it feels so different because it's so much colder, and it's also like all gray and stuff, where the rest of the prelude is more like orange tinted, brown tinted. And check out this guy. What's up with this guy? He's like caged up, and he has no apple. I wish I had the rest of my weapons, so I like take out the rail cannon, like zoom in on this, because this is weird. And then you have like these holes, these are very small holes. I wonder if these are like the smallest holes that you can like go through in the game. Because like, I mean, these are this part sort of resembles a vent. But then you get over here, and this is just like a hole. And then you get over here. You know what this looks like? This looks like a train station. Like, you sit down here, you wait for your train. But... And I'm thinking, like, what purpose in the because, like, I mean, the secret levels aren't really, like, canon, you know? Like, at least most of them. Like, Something Wicked has a terminal entry, but I don't really know what the implications of that are. Like, this is, like, if I had to say, this is probably, like, the most canon secret level. But that's not really saying much. But, like, it really makes you wonder, what is the purpose of 0-S? What is because, like, you know, you look around in Prelude, and, like, at least after the older revamp update, you can sort of, like, glean the purpose that each level in Prelude sort of serves. But 0-S is, like, weirdly, like, incomprehensible. Most of the secret, even, like, a lot of the secret levels, like, you can sort of understand what they're supposed to be, even if they, like, make no sense within the lore. But this doesn't really... I thought that was, like, turning for a second. I thought that was... No, that's just a wall. But none of this really makes sense. It's kind of weird. And I still can't get over this. What is this? This is just, like, a random banister. And then there's water here. There's water. Like, when you think, like, the Prelude is, like, so hot. It has so much lava and stuff. But this is just random, like, water. And, well, I'm starting to think that I'm sort of stretching myself thin here. So, I'm gonna wrap things up. Wait, no. Let's try something fun here. run over here. Let's run back to the beginning. And then let's put this back. Where am I going? Over here. I'm going over here. Yeah, and then let's go to the end. Let's grab this. Oh. Not gonna lie, I thought something wicked would come and we'd be safe in here and we get to get a look at it, but no, I guess they got that. Okay, let's go. Let's get out of here. Let's go to our next place. Can you guess where this is? This is... Well, I mean, this doesn't really... I mean, you probably figured it out already, but this is... This is the torch room in P-1. This is the room before the boss. And, you know, when I was thinking of places I wanted to check out, I think this is one of the first things that really came to mind, because it's such, like, a weird area. Because, you know, you come into P1, and then you come down the spiral staircase, and then you get to this, like, weird little room where you put the torch down to open the door. And, like, I don't know, it's such a weird little thing, because P1 is, like, a completely, like, empty void otherwise, but then you come down here, and it's just this weird square room. Like, this weird square, featureless room with a big door in it. And then you place the torch down here, but we're not going to do that yet. You place the torch down here, and then it's just like an empty square void. Can we get up? Can I slam bounce? Let me... Yeah, it's just like a black, like, empty suit. Gluttony is, like, a very weird layer, just, like, in general, in terms of, like, aesthetic, because, like, you know... What was that? What? Why is the whiplash going through the wall here? What the? This wall has no collision, for the whiplash at least. What's up with that? Huh. That's weird. That's something new I've discovered. But yeah, Gluttony is kind of like a weird layer in general, in terms of like its general like vibe, because, you know, it has like the vibe of like an indoor, like closed in layer, which you don't really get a lot of, because you have the Mouth of Hell, and then you have Limbo, and then pretty much all of them are like generally pretty open in terms of like their general like vibe. But then Gluttony is this weird vibe where it's like, it feels enclosed, but when you really think about it, there's a lot of like open, empty spaces. But then those are also like enclosed rooms. Think of the those like a bunch of the open rooms in 3-2, like before you go and fight Gabriel, and like, you know, the bridge where you first start hear him talking. And then the hand bridge where he keeps talking. Both of those are like enclosed rooms. And then the spine staircase in 3-1 is also like an enclosed room. But it doesn't feel like it. And, you know, I'm sort of rambling about stuff, but I just think this is a... Wait, is that... This one doesn't have collision either. That's... Oh, wait, no, this is the wall with the door. Okay, so the walls along this side of the room interact with the whiplash, but this one doesn't. Anyway, I was saying, but this is such like a weird room because it feels like so different from the rest of the level that came before it, even though, you know, wait. Okay, so this room does have a ceiling. It's just that it's like black. But it's just kind of a weird room in general. And that's pretty much all I have to say about it. I'm not going in there. Now, when thinking of locations to visit for this, you know, like whole like discussion, like weird thing I'm doing right here, This was probably one of the first things that. Do you mind? I'm doing a thing. I mean, like, I don't care. I just don't really mind. I'm not really a fan of you like trying to like make this thing about you, because I'm trying to talk here. I'm just gonna not look at you. Okay, when I was thinking about doing this, this was like the first place that probably came to my mind, and that is the lighthouse island in 5-2. And when we're talking about these weird like obscure places, 5-2 is, in terms of layout at least, like, for better or worse, 5-2 is probably like one of the more unique levels, because it's very like tight, but it's also very open at the same time. And one of the weirdest places of this level is probably this little island over here. Because you come over here and, well, there's a secret over here, but that's pretty much it. It's such a weird, like, vibe, because it's so far off from the rest of the level, which, like, I mean, yeah, obviously, like, there isn't much to do here. You have the orb, and you come over here, and it's like, hark! Neptunus struck them dead, and that is the old skull texture, which is neat. But, and then you have the lighthouse, which which looks a lot better in the Ultra Revamp update. But it's such a weird vibe, like, being over here, like, so isolated. 5-2 is, like, such a weird vibe anyway, because ULTRAKILL, ULTRAKILL is a very focused game. And that's not to say it doesn't have, like, downtime or whatever. It's just that a lot of that time is spent, like, doing high action, like, high energy stuff. But 5-2 is a very low energy level, because you come out and you're in the rain, you're in the middle of the ocean, and for the majority of the level, there's just no music at all. There isn't any music at all until you bring up the Ferryman's Ferry, and even then, the music that plays there is like also low energy. And the only time where the level really goes like full tilt, full throttle, full energy is when you're actually fighting the ferryman. So we're here, and in this level, let's look around a bit on this. Let's get on top of the lighthouse. This is not at all the most efficient way I could be doing this. And these are prelude textures. That's interesting. Like the top of the lighthouse here. Those are, yeah, they're on you're on the railings too. Those are prelude textures. That's interesting. You come over here. It's such like a unique, like distinct like vibe, because it doesn't really. There aren't really a lot of places like this in ULTRAKILL which are so isolated, but you're intended to come over here because there's a secret here, and also something really interesting that I discovered about 5-2 while I was looking around here, because I sort of investigated this place a little bit. Is that if you let's see if this works. Whatever, I can just something interesting that I discovered about 5-2 is that if you take wow, okay, if you, oh my god, I fucking suck at this game. If you, what the fuck? If you, as I was saying, if you, oh my god! If you go over here, yeah, Jacob, what just happened? Okay, well, okay, let me get back to, maybe if I go over here, I can demonstrate it better. But, like, maybe you already figured it out, but, God. Okay. Whatever. But what I was saying is that I don't know why this happens, but if you go to one end of the map, it actually wraps you around to the other end of the map, which I don't know exactly why that was done. That could have easily just been like an invisible wall, but I don't know. It's weird. And that's like about what I wanted to say about 5-2. It's a very weird, like, little interesting level. It's definitely not one of my favorites. Probably oh my god. 5-2 is definitely one of my least favorite levels. But in terms of vibes, I think it's very strong. And that brings us to our last area that I wanted to talk about, which is actually very similar to this one in terms of like general vibes. And we're going there right now. What's up? I'm back. I'm in yet another situation right now. God knows I love to get into those. We are here in 7-2 to check out another, sort of space that's sort of similar to what we just saw in 5-2. And that is, well, it's not that way, but for sure. And I actually wanted to go over here because, the area that I want to check out regarding 7-2 is actually sort of just the outskirts of the level in general, because it's such a weird vibe out here. It's a sort of similar situation to 5-2. It's actually not. It's actually sort of a different situation because you can come out here, but you're mainly not meant to. It's mostly just like completely like dead out here. Nothing happens except for like this, because it's like a weird little, you have a soul orb here, and then you grab it, and then where is it? Yeah, a Sisyphean insurrectionist out here, which is interesting because Sisyphean insurrectionists are kind of interesting. If you think about it, they're not really as prevalent as you might think, because you have the you have the one that you fight in 4-2, obviously, and then you come, and then there's two of them that you can fight in 6-2 as an optional mini boss, but again, that's optional. And then you have this in 7-2. Then there's two in P-2, that's 6 total insurrectionists throughout the entire game, which is kind of, not a lot, which is kind of interesting. But, and even if, like that's even if you count, Angry and Rude in 6-2, because those are mini bosses. And then P-2, because that's a bonus level. That's 2 insurrectionists in, like, the main story. That, like, and even then, this one is a secret that you're probably not even going to encounter. That's 1 insurrectionist in the entire main story that you'll probably encounter on your first time playthrough. And also, where's this light coming from? It's kind of weird. That's kind of weird. Have you not noticed that that's kind of weird? And there are a couple more things I want to talk about. I also want to talk about another reason why you would come out here in like regular gameplay is because you have this hole right here, which you can fall down here, and you can get into this area before you get into this area before you get into this area. And where is? But whatever, this is how you access the book that you need to make it through the library without activating any enemies. And I actually did that on my first ever playthrough of the level. I like completely lost my way after that first encounter over there, and then the clock tower falls down. I just completely lost my way. I don't know how. I found my way over here, and then I went down there. And no, you know what I did? I think I found my way in here. And then I found my way in here, and then I went through here to grab this book, and then that's how I learned the path through the library. So I actually didn't find that hole on my first playthrough, but it's such a weird like vibe out here. Let's actually look around the outskirts of the map here, because that's the one area that you're actually most likely to go during. What is that? Oh my god! Wait, that's one of the spotlights that's one of the spotlights that shines up throughout the level. Interesting. But yeah, you come around here and there's not really... Well, I don't want to go too far because reason you'll see in a minute, but actually no, I'll just go over and show you right now. You come over here and over here, this is the edge of the map right here. There are signs here saying warning landmines, and honest question, how many of you knew that these were here? Because I definitely didn't know that these were here until, you know, very recently when I started, like, actually exploring this stuff and, like, preparation to actually, you know, talk about this. And, okay, yeah, it's right. It's right. There are landmines here. You go out here, and it's just landmines that just blow you up until you die. Let's turn on cheats. Let's turn on Fulbright. Let's get a look at this. It doesn't really show anything. It's like, oh god, yeah, right. This is one of the few times where I can actually experience lag in this game. If I look back at the rest of the level. Anyway, now let's run around in Fulbright a bit. Yeah, the landmines. Just an empty field of landmines all around. Are there any more signs across the rest of the level? Wait, actually, the river. Where does the river go? Okay, it just sort of ends. Okay. And then... yeah, that's really the only place in which you... let's turn back off Fulbright. I mean, let's turn back off Fulbright because, we don't really need it anymore. But, you know, 7-2 is probably one of the weirder structured levels in the game because it's completely open, but it still has a linear path that you need to follow. And because of that, I just got completely lost the first time I was playing it. And then, also over here, you have the landmine sign, which is really interesting, and you have just like, you know, like a roadblock to keep you out. And that's pretty much all I wanted to say about 7-2. And that's also all the things that I wanted to like say about like areas in this game in general. You know, it's kind of hard to think of places that I want to check out for this because you know, ULTRAKILL is such like a focused game. Like you're always like going point A to point B. There's not a lot of spots in which you can really stop and like go somewhere where you're not supposed to be. So I wanted to try something, you know, sort of more like experimental or something more interesting. I hope you liked it. Don't expect like constant like ULTRAKILL stuff from me. This was really only because of how much the Tedo covers popped up, which those are a lot of fun. I like making those. It's probably going to be a while. It's probably going to be a bit until I make the next one. I know what I want to make. It's just going to take a bit to do. But I hope you can stick around for not only ULTRAKILL but other stuff that I make, because I do have a lot of fun ideas as to what I want to make. I want to try a lot of scripted stuff. I have a lot of video ideas of stuff I want to make. So I think I'm just gonna stop rambling right here and just end it off. So that was fun. Take care, I guess. Bye.